I will tell you a story. This story is taking place when I was 15, that's 2 years back. And my mom signed me up for an excursion in Podi National Park in the Austrian part, which is pretty near where I live. And yeah, initially I didn't want to go because I was a stupid teenager who just wanted to play video games all day. But after some convincing from my mother, I eventually went. And it was great. Actually, it was perfect, looking back, of course. Let's get to the point of this video. I met there a girl, and I really liked her because she was pretty pretty. She had a great sense of humor, and she was short, which for someone who was 5'2" at that time, or about 155 centimeters for my European friends, was like a jackpot, really. I'm not even exaggerating. And looking back, we really hit it off, and I tried to get to know her better, but the way I did it is questionable, to say the least. So I infiltrated her friend group because for some reason at that time I thought that that's how you do it. It didn't work, of course. At that time I just started to talk with girls in my class, and all of them were like, "Hey, how are you?" Like, they were able to ask this to one person like 10 times a day, and they were always like, "Ah, that's so funny." And so I thought girls liked something like that. They didn't. And yeah, so as you might have guessed, me talking with this girl consisted of like me comes up to her and like, "Hey, how are you?" She, "I'm good, how are you?" "I'm good too." 20 minutes later, the same. At some point during the excursion, she was like, "Hey, you aren't very original, are you?" And while I was like, "No, not really." Again, looking back, it was painfully obvious that she liked me, and I didn't pick up the hints. But yeah, whatever. And yeah, so when the excursion came to an end, I at least made use of me and my friendship with her friends, and I acquired her Messenger account from one of her friends. I didn't even have the balls to ask her. And yeah, we messaged back and forth for some time, and I was like, "Hey, wanna meet up?" And she was like, "Yeah, that sounds great. By the way, do you mean like me? Just me, or with all my friends?" And I was like, "Well, I want to see her, but what if she doesn't like me?" Of course, I didn't write this. I texted her, "Yeah, I want to see you all." And she was like, "Okay." But eventually, we found out that someone just couldn't go, so we called it off. And yeah, we never met again. But after some time of texting, let's say, it started to take longer and longer for her to reply, and I was like, "What is happening?" And I asked her, "Hey, am I like harassing you?" And she was like, No, it's everything is okay." And I texted her again a few times, but yeah, it was taking her longer and longer to reply, and eventually she stopped replying. So just because for some reason I thought it was a good idea, I texted her, hey, I'm really feeling like a simp. And she left me on red. For 2 years. Yeah, I just stopped texting her because I thought like, yeah, it isn't worth it. I like myself way too much for me to waste time on this. And yeah, so now, like 1 month back, when I stopped dating a girl, well, we weren't technically even dating, but that's besides the point. When we stopped going on dates, I texted this girl from the excursion, hey, wanna meet up? And she was like, yeah, hey, I would very much like to see you, but I'm pregnant. I was like, what the fuck? Because keep in mind, at the point I texted her the month before, which, yeah, she is 1.5 years, slightly over 1 year younger than me, and so I just called BS and refused to believe that she got pregnant at barely 15. So I texted her something like, the last person who texted me something like this was a girl who tried to convince me that she had broken her back. And she was like, yeah, life is tough. And I was like, yeah. Anyways, wanna meet up? And she was like, sorry, no. But that's okay, you know? The rejection isn't failure. The only failure are the chances you don't take. This isn't failure. This is experience. And experience is priceless today. You can't get experience from watching YouTube tutorials. So, here's actionable step for you. Go out and ask your crush out. Or do it over text. Of course, if it's 12 p.m. and you should be sleeping, go to sleep. But tomorrow, the first thing when you see your crush or when you text your crush, ask her out. If she says no, that's fine. Shit happens. But the experience is priceless. You will thank me later. Peace.